morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kali JC Musume from Faculty of Education. I am a group CVE Group 4 100. We are talking about disaster, the types of disaster, and the various disaster strategies, management strategies. Firstly, what is disaster? This is a catastrophe or a sudden accident which leads to great loss of life, destruction of properties, and destruction of the natural environment. There are two main types of disaster. We have the natural disaster and the man-made disaster. With the natural disaster, this is a catastrophe or a calamity that occurs without any human influence on the environment, such as earthquake, eruption, tsunamis, flood, etc. With man-made disaster, it is a catastrophe or a shock or a calamity that occurs due to man's activity on the environment, such as war, pollution, transportation, accident. With natural disaster. And the course made after me will start with the first type of natural disaster.
Talking about the type of natural disaster, I'll be talking about earthquake, tsunamis, and volcanicity. What is earthquake? Earthquake is a sudden shaking of the earth's interior where waves are being generated, and the wave that is mostly causing this disaster onto the earth's surface is the air waves. And these air waves, when it comes to the surface, it creates houses to collapse. Many things are being destroyed, like the pipe burn, the electrical, they will rupture, and coincidentally, this thing may catch up into fire and it will bring about fire disaster around the area. When the soil is being saturated with water, this water becomes liquefied, and this liquefaction will create the ground to be weak, and so the houses cannot withstand and they will collapse, and they bring in secondary effects where building will be collapsing and many people will die. Then we have tsunamis. Tsunamis is that earthquake that is occurring in the sea, where it can occur at the coast or inside the sea. And when it occurs, it brings about flooding that may destroy so many lives of people. Volcanicity also comes along when earthquake is being generated, it's being caused by volcanicity. Volcanicity is when solid, liquid, and gaseous material are being ejected from the interior of the earth to the surface of the earth. And this volcanicity with the earthquake must go in line, because the release of pressure is what is creating this earthquake and is also creating this volcanicity. So when we have loading, which will cause this volcanic activity to take place, and this volcanic activity will also generate to produce fire, since the molten magma in the earth interior will come up to the surface. That will cause destruction of the land and will also bring about the landslide, will bring destruction of the rupture of light and also causes fire and also bring the fall of houses. And when all this is happening, the destruction will be caused by natural effects, and all these are the cause of natural disaster.
Another natural disaster is flooding. Flooding can be seen, or flooding is an abnormal overflow of water across its river banks onto the dry lands. Flooding can be as a result, or it results from heavy rainfall. It results from the topography itself of an area might cause flooding, like swamps are likely to face flood, like islands. Islands are likely to face flood. We have blockage in drainage pipes, gutters, and also lines of water passage. And so it can also be remedied by construction of dams, construction of more drainage ways and gutters.
Landslide also causes natural disaster. Landslide is the mass movement of materials such as rocks, debris down a slope, which may occur more suddenly or slowly over a long period of time. And this is due to prolonged rainfall, which may lead to loss of life, destruction of properties. Thank you.
Nuclear explosion is another cause of natural explosion. What is nuclear explosion? Nuclear explosion is the splitting of atomic substances that are found in the atmosphere to produce radioactive particles such as alpha, beta, beta, and mega. Now we have two types of nuclear explosion. We have man-made and we have the natural nuclear explosion. The natural explosion occurs as a rapid release of atomic particles, which produces nuclei, which are the dangerous substances when released into the atmosphere. Why man-made nuclear explosions are being caused by bombs during war. Now, what are the causes of nuclear explosion? When these radioactive particles are being exposed into the atmosphere, when inhaled by humans, it leads to instant death because the particles are really dangerous. It also causes diseases like cancer, and it also causes genetic damages. It damages the human genetic system, which is very dangerous. Thank you.
Transportation is also a cause of natural disaster. Transportation accidents are accidents because as a result of transport of persons, people, plants from one place to another. Causes of transportation accidents: we have bad roads, we have bad weather, we have drinking while driving, smoking while driving. Effects of accidents: we have damages, we have injuries, we even have deaths. Example of transportation accident was the accident that occurred in Moliwe, where there was a school bus that carried students from one area and was moving to another area and had a clash between a camion. That was transportation accident. And what was the effect of that accident that occurred? It led to death, injuries, body body damages, even changed people's lifestyle. For example, those that had injuries on their skin, they had to change their state of living. As a result of that, they had to change their natural environment. Next on man-made disaster, we have war. War, this is a conflict or a disagreement between two or more people, states, or nations. As a result of this, it leads to damages, loss of life, destruction of natural environment, forceful migration of people from one area to another. We also have pollution. It is the introduction of toxic substances into the environment. There are three types of pollution. We have the air pollution, the land pollution, and the water pollution. With the air pollution, it is the introduction of toxic substances into the air through industries. And with land pollution, it is the use of toxic chemicals in the cultivation of crops. To talk about disaster management strategies, there are 5 main emergency steps used in managing disaster. We have prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. More on this will be explained by my fellow member.
Preventions that we are going to talk about, like in earthquake, we are going to use a seismograph where it is supposed to be planted to monitor the earthquake activity. And from here, people are going to get the result on the magnitude scale and the resistivity that is supposed to come out from the earthquake. From there, people will know that at a particular scale, people are supposed to leave the area. We also have to follow the radioactive gas that may be got from the well, because when these gases are being oozed into the water, this one will also help the people around to know that earthquake is about to occur. Then we are going to talk about the animals. Some animals will be restless and so they cannot stay put, and they will be running into the houses like frogs, and it will indicate to the population that earthquake is about to occur. Next will be the prevention of landslide. People should stop building houses on steepy areas because these areas may lead to the destruction of people. Because when this ground is saturated, this landslide may occur in these areas where houses are built. So people should avoid steep areas in building.
Talking on managing natural disasters, starting with accident management. Accident nowadays has been so regular due to the insecurity or at most much reason to the inability of some drivers to be conscious of what they are doing. Now, to reduce the rate of accident in our community, it is better to take into consideration not to drive while drunk, drive while mentally not stable, taking on driving activity while smoking, taking on driving activity while feeling dizzy or even tired. Then you must respect highway codes and traffic lights, and also ensure to respect checkpoints in order to avoid accidents. Thank you. Now, moving down to managing flood. Flood is a natural disaster that is so dangerous and threatful to man. And I think the causes was discussed earlier. Now, to manage flood, I think dams should be constructed, embankments, and there should be government policies to be set to govern areas that are always experiencing this flooding stuff. Now, opening of gutters, there are gutters in our environment that are blocked as a result of that flooding occurs. An area or natural location of an area itself should be monitored, such as islands. During rainy season, it should be evacuated to avoid drastic damages caused by water. Thank you.
So to conclude, after the above disaster management strategies have been sensitized, disaster will be managed successfully. Together, we say thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
watching.
watching.